their well-being, even as we have a responsibility to ensure that their welfare is not undermined by individuals who may have become, quote and unquote, big in their own rights in the society.
Okay, let's just even be a little more clear. If I have a land and I have not,
and I know you do.
No, I'm not talking. I'm talking on behalf of Nigerians now, other Deltans, but it's fenced. Does this 3 months affect me?
It affects you. We didn't ask you to come. I said we are not looking for any land banker who takes a land and keep it as his own bank.
Okay.
We are not looking for somebody who will bank land for us.
No, this was not acquired from government.
No. If government no. If government didn't give you, then there's nothing for us to revoke.
Okay.
If we didn't give you, we are not going to take what you inherited from your father, for instance.
Or what I bought with my money.
No, yeah, or what you bought with your money, but not from government.
Not from government.
If the person you bought it from got it from government, you are also affected.
At risk.
Yeah, you're also affected. Go and develop it. What we are saying is, for instance, let me now distinguish the issue of CFO. The CFO that government gives you does a whole number of things. Number one, when government land is issued to you, when you are offered a parcel of land from government acquired land, the CFO now tells government and other public persons that this particular land, government being the custodian, has given it to this man. And so government moves away from that, except when there is what they call overriding public interest, in which case government may have given to you, but along the line, it's discovered that some government need to do something that will affect everybody, not for the purpose of collecting from you and giving to another human being. But government discovered that that place could have been a school, could have been a stadium, could have been a place where the public or ordinarily should pass through that place. Now government, what does government do? Government now pay you compensation and now take that land for the purpose of serving that public interest. That is the land that belongs to government, that the government has acquired. Don't forget, this land initially, ab initio, were in the custody of communities, individuals in communities. But government acquired it for the purpose of stimulating and of course regulating development. And having acquired it, government need to, as part of that stimulating and regulating development, now give it to individuals, those who want to build industries, those who want to build malls, those who want to build their residential accommodation, and those who want to bring about some other forms of development, taking advantage of the prime position that land occupies in the scale of capital requirements for development. Now, that particular CFO, like I said earlier, protest you and guide them and let them push government to do that. No, we are giving this one in form of lease for 199 years to Mr. A. That's for that one. Now, when you buy land from an individual in a community, in an area not already acquired by government, the reason why you also come immediately rush to government to say, please, I need your CFO. Yeah. The government will ask you, please go and bring the deed of conveyance between you and the original owner, community owner or family owner, because it could be by inheritance. Because our laws recognizes all those because of our peculiar nature of growth. It's not like that in some parts in the north. Some parts in some places in the north, the land belongs to that initiative to government, so government continue to cut and give to you. Just like if you also go to some communities, the land belongs to the community, so community will now begin to cut and give to individuals. But in a number of other communities, this land now belongs to individuals who started from the era of land tenure. And then you just come say, no, these are family land, it belongs to the Aniagwu. And then because I'm an Aniagwu son, I can now become, by way of inheritance, they cut a parcel of it and give to me, and I become the custodian. And when I want to sell, and I sell to you, all I need is to prepare the deed of conveyance and say that all the titles, everything I'm transferring to you. Having transferred to you, because you want to be properly protected, you now approach government, coming up with those documents. And government verify that indeed that the original custodian, in this case the family holder, is the one who transferred to you, and then government now issue you a CFO. That now protects you. That now makes, even if you want to use it to now borrow money, banks will be able to say, okay, yes, there's a proper land, so the title of that land will no longer largely be in contest or in contention. So you now invite government to that one. That one is a different thing entirely, because that one could be in a farm, it could be anywhere. But when you now want to, having acquired the CFO for that particular land, when you now want to develop it, you now also have to approach government in terms of your building plan, because government will need to look at the building plan. Does it conform with the plans of government? But if it's a government acquired land that government extends to you, government have ab initio through urban and regional planning, being able to map out what kind of thing do we need in this area. There are areas that you have for mixed development, which is why you can have residential buildings, you can have things like commercial buildings, because those ones are allowed, but it might not accommodate an industrial complex. Government will say no, the noise to be generated by this industry cannot be tolerated here. So this is an industrial area. Like when you go to do like Lagos, they say Inupeju industrial estate and all that. Because we are a new state, we are growing gradually, and we are trying to also, in the course of redesigning our urban settlements, to be able to put in place that kind of segregation where you can come up and say, no, if you want industry, you go here.
Okay, we just hold it there this morning. If you just joined us, it's Trend Talk on Trend 100.9 FM. We're looking at revocation, of CFOs in Delta, government acquired lands of over 2 years this morning on the show. Our guest is the Honorable Commissioner for Information Delta State, Mr. Charles Aniagwu. So I know the phone lines have been blinking. Some of our listeners want to just call in to say, okay, this is my question or this is my concern about this new policy or new move of government. So you have the opportunity now, 0816-774-9851, 0807-122-8571. That is 0814-039-2069 or 0807-122-8571. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Okay, someone is on the line. Hello. Oh, mine. All right. 0816-774-9851. 0807-122-8571. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome. Yellow, good to have you. Can you turn down the volume on your radio set so that we can hear you well? Thank you. Better.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, my brother. Yellow.
Yellow.
Functionality. But I just want to shoot you a question with respect to what I went through. I acquired the land, and the land I acquired was a CFO was going to me by the first occupant. But I later discovered that land has been sold to 3 different people. So I was given a list by someone who claimed to be the original owner of that land from the community. Another person showed up again on different things from that same community. And at the end of the day, because the other party has more influence, the land was taken from you and given to someone else. So I think I want to know what is the role of the government to ensure the land grabbers they are properly put in their place. Because there are so many people who must have invested so much in land and only to where they are feeling a correct now. Will go to where for land, will be tested value, arguing on land, bringing papers of the paper. Even the papers I have claimed to be genuine, but they have been several papers. You hardly can say who actually the owner of those land. That's the difference we have. You say the JK family. When you go there, you find different people having interest in that land and having their own documents to back it up. So who acquires that? The government trying to protect us.
All right, Gello, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very
2 minutes. All right.
Thank you very much, Gello. I want to presume that the land you are talking about is a community land because you said you acquired the land. In the case of government allocates, then you secure your titles, and then you can buy from somebody. And if you are buying that land, those titles are also supposed to be transferred. Let me tell you that in the case of land that does not have a certificate of occupancy, deed of conveyance does not guarantee you
ownership
or
full
protection that much. The reason is this: if the person who is selling is fraudulent, he can sell to you today, and then both of you sign a deed of conveyance, and then he says to another person, all he needs to do is to backdate it. If you want, yes, he can afford to. And when you go to court will first of all look at, okay, who bought first. It's possible you bought first, but the man decided to backdate that of another person who is buying after you. because maybe that one has paid higher money. And then the court will look at, okay, this one is the first time. And then so when you look at the man and say, no, it has been my property before you came in. But why you should always progress to having a C of O is that C of O brings government into it. The individual cannot easily, except when officials in government decide to play foul, which we have also noticed in the course of time, that there are times where officials in government will, those who should not directly protect the people, will now cause another C of O, advise government wrongly without government knowing, and then that C of O is issued in error. But even when that happens, the first C of O, if it is not revoked, still becomes the
authentic.
Yes, the authentic. Because for you to issue another title on a land that is already titled, you must revoke the existing one to be able to make the second one to become very, very active. Otherwise, it's like a man who decides to marry another person's wife. You know, it becomes it becomes a different thing. If you did not carry out a proper divorce of your husband, and you now go and marry another husband, you know it's a different thing. That amounts to more like is it bigamy, they call it, or whatever name is called.
All right,
you are marrying two husbands at the same time.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, great analysis by the Commissioner of Information.
Name and location, please.
So, this is Fred calling from Niger.
Okay, Fred, go on.
Yeah, I just want to find out two things. How do we know the locations that are acquired by government, specifically in Asaba? And also, what happens if the 3 months expires? You need to read land bank or land or whatever you call them now. If the 3 months expires, what are the steps? What is the next step government will take? Because we also need to be able to say prospective investors. If somebody knows that his time is almost up and went and spread the land to somebody who unknowingly is not aware of this kind of information, and the buyer may find himself with a big problem. So what happens? Is there going to be this area in Akaba, for instance? Do we have this kind of government acquired land with C of O that are yet to be developed? That is number one. Number two is that in the 3 months of working, what will government do after them? Will it be being told a notice around that area to say this place has been taken over by government, and for prospective buyers be aware that this is the new step to be taken to get involved in this kind of a land Thank you.
All right, Fred.
Thank you very much, Fred. First of all, once you are buying a land that already has a title, that is a C of O, the first thing you are supposed to do is what we call search. You must go to our land ministry to be able to look at this land and the title that the person is parading. Is it still authentic?
Yeah, Ministry of Land.
Yes, Ministry of Land. The moment it's revoked, the Ministry of Land will tell you, no, this certificate is no longer tenable because it has been revoked. They will inform you. If you are buying a land that has a C of O, no matter how small it is, you must proceed to the Ministry of Land to first of all ascertain the authenticity of the title that is being given to you. Whether the man stole the C of O and then now come and tell that he's the owner of the land, it is the Ministry of Land you'll be able to find out the original owner. Secondly, if you buy that land, you will now enter into agreement. You are now supposed to, because government will not issue another C of O on that same land. That first C of O remains tenable. But what you do is what you call consent. You now need the consent by as provided for in the Land Use Act for the government to now say, we are giving you consent to now own this C of O that was originally issued to Austin Okorodudu. Now with that consent, the C of O and everything is now transferred to you as Austin Okorodudu. But government will not issue another C of O to now bear your name. It's only the consent that now transfer that ownership of that land to you. So anybody who is buying any land that already has that kind of title must go to Ministry of Land. When you are buying land, particularly in a capital or in an urban area, you must refer to government. Otherwise, you will be the one, you have yourself to blame, because you want to part with so much amount of money, sometimes running into the system, so that it's available for those who are very much willing to develop. This land can be found in very, very what you call core areas. For instance, if you are coming to Asaba, if you know these areas we call core areas, everybody who is involved in buying land knows that you cannot go to DBS Road now and you say that you are buying a community land. You can't go to Median Babangida and you now say you are buying a community land. You can't go to even this area where your office is. Nobody can come here and say he's buying a community land. You cannot go to what's it called, behind the opposite
High Court.
The High Court area, and say you are buying a community land. But in any case, anywhere you are buying land, whether it's even outside the court area, why not do a little search and find out, is it a community land that is not yet registered with the government? Government is aware that that land exists, but it's not yet registered. The only time you register that land properly with the government is when you bring your deed of conveyance between you and whichever community or individual that is selling to you. And then when you register it to government and government carry out investigation, for first of all, it advertises for about 21 days for the purpose of allowing if there is going to be any objection. And then alerting those who live in that area. If it is an area that is has a traditional institution where there could be a traditional ruler, all of them are supposed to be brought in. And so even if you are buying a land in a community very far away from an urban area, why not just involve the traditional ruler?
We get all this
for the purpose of protecting your own investment.
Okay, we'll take a break now. When we return, we will continue. It's still Trend Talk on Trend 100.9 FM. Do stay. Wednesday morning, 17th day of February 2021. We're still looking at this morning the revocation of CFOs of undeveloped lands in urban areas of Delta State acquired over 2 years. To be part of the conversation, 08167749851. Charles Aniagwu, Honorable Commissioner for Information, Delta State, is our guest this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You're welcome.
My name is Ejiro. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Joe. Where are you calling from?
Okay, I want to commend the Honorable Commissioner for information in giving us so far on the issues. So I just want to find out about the CPA housing in the village land allocated in the village about 4 to 10 years ago, attributed if that is also exclusive. Because a lot of parents who have land there have not been able to go in there to develop. The problem we're having is that the communities are after them. That we only have not compensated them fully, or whenever the government gave money to limited them, so they can enter them to develop. And whoever wants to get it has to go and buy from them. So it will cost a lot of credit for people to develop, especially in that area. So I want them to find out if that is not the increase, which I was commenting about the issue to be actually true. So that it's less education.
I don't have the details about the area you're talking about, but we must distinguish between I will and I have. I will is the intention of what you want to do. I have is what you have done. If the government goes ahead to say they are going to acquire a land and they acquire the land, the moment you acquire a land, that land is usually gazetted to let anybody know that the ownership of that land has moved from community custody to government custody. And once you gazette that land, after some time you discover that you do not need all the parcel of land that you may have acquired from the community, then you now go ahead to de-acquire. And in de-acquiring that land, you also now make adjustment on the gazette to let them know that not every land that you have initially taken and paid compensation is what you have. Then once you acquire a land and you gazette it, it is up to the government now to bring about compensation of the original owners of that land. And once that is done, it protects the individuals who are going, who government will give that land to. But the moment government acquires it, even when government are not paid any compensation, the community, and it's gazetted, the community cannot attack individuals who are allotted land and that acquired land. The community will have a case against government. So it now becomes the community versus the government to say, look, government, you took our land by force. You have not given us what you are supposed to give to us, because the Land Use Act enables the government to be able to acquire any land so long as it is justifiably done for the purpose of advancing development, not to acquire for the purpose of just giving an individual without doing the necessary thing that you need to do. So once government acquires it to bring about a public good, government must also take steps to pay compensation, gazette it, and let it be known that by law that land now belongs to government, because originally almost every of this land coming from our colonial period belongs to individuals and communities. And so for the one you are talking about, I don't know the details because I wouldn't know the area you're talking about. But if it's an estate, like when you say DDPA, what government does is that because DDPA is an agency of government that is empowered to bring about housing development across the 25 local government areas and indeed the capital territory. DDPA, government enables you to acquire a land, it pays for this land, take it as an agency of government, follow the normal processes, and now begin to apportion this land and allot it to individuals. Sometimes it could be 1,000 square meters, sometimes 800 and something square meters, some other times it could be a little more than that. But for the largely, for the purposes of building residential houses, at the moment there are those that we are dealing with, trying to perfect in along that same corridor you talked about, the Buzo up to where you have the military, the naval university. So all that is being done. In case with the one he's talking about, I wouldn't know. There are a number of ones already acquired by government there, but if I have the details, they will be able to know what to do.
Okay, just to be a little clear as we go this morning, Honorable Commissioner, when these lands were given out, did the government specify the period for development?
It is very, very clear in your CFO that after 2 years, if you don't develop, it means you are not ready. Okay. It is usually very, very clear. Because when individuals come, the reason why we approach government, there's a saying in my place that if a man have not seen what he wants to cut, there's no need putting saliva on your palm. Because if you put it before you get to where what you want to cut, the thing will dry off, and which means your hand will peel off. So it is when you know you are ready to build a house, to build a factory, to build a mall, to cost anything that will add value in terms of development to that particular parcel of land. That's when you are supposed to approach government. You don't approach government because you want to become a land banker, where you just acquire from government and you put it in one safe and lock it up like this kunkuru that the children will use and put their money and they will not access it. Government says no, you can't do that, because in doing so, you have number one negated the essence of the allocation as spent out in the CFO, and we will not hesitate. The same Uyibo that produce pencil knew that once in a while somebody will write wrongly by making mistakes, so they decided to produce eraser and put it in those days. But if you are buying a HB, they call that pencil before. Yeah. They put eraser on top of it, so that when you write with the tip and you write wrongly, all you need to do, you turn it again and use the head to wipe it off. So for those that we may have, as a government, allocated land to, and we trusted them that they would develop, and they did not develop it, it is assumed that our judgment was not right enough, or that we were deceived. And so we don't want to be deceived for too long. So 3 months is enough for them to take steps, because after 3 months, we will not come back to them again to say this is what we want to do. We're already telling them what we want to do. We didn't want to just say it is revoked automatically, which is still within the law, by provision of Section 5 of the Land Use Act. We don't just want to do that. We just being a government that cares. Say, look, these 3 months, any step you want to take, if it happens that you don't even have money to do that thing that you initially thought you would do, please now take steps to give it to those who will not have that money to do it. Can't you even go into partnership? I just told you about the Asaba Mall. Asaba Mall is partnership between the Delta State government and the developer. What did we do? We said we have this land, we don't want to sell it to you. Come and build. But certain percentage of the money that will be coming from there comes to us as a government. So that land becomes our own equity in that particular business, that venture. You can also do that. I have a place, for instance, that was given to me by the Capital Territory government in Abuja some 5 years ago. When I discovered that I wasn't ready to bring about development there because I don't have the resources to be able to do the things I thought I could do in that area, I just approached an investor and said, okay, look, I don't want to sell my land, but this land can take as much as 6 different duplex. Can you come and develop it? Give me 2, you take 4. And the man says, okay, that's fine. I don't want to sell. But at the end of the day, he builds, so everybody now knows when by the time he finishes his building, my own is to take the land, gives me the 2, while he takes his own 4. That thing happens everywhere. Okay, so if you have land and you don't have money to develop, go and look for those who can enter into some form in case you don't want to sell. But if you also want to sell and have the money to do other beautiful things, go ahead and sell. We don't have any problem. But make sure that it is properly documented and that the government is able to issue consent to whoever you are selling to, because if you don't inform government, I pity that person who is buying, because it means he's buying a liability. So if you are buying, go and search, and government will tell you, yes, you can buy. And when you do, just come back to government and then apply for consent.
Many thanks this morning, Honorable Commissioner Charles Ahedo Aniagwu.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I must also appreciate Yellow Fred and their friends that called him to show interest in this decision to protect our people.
Thank you so much. Okay, we need to go. Eze Oboma produced this for Trend 100.9. Keep listening to Trend. Have a great day. Austin Okorodudu is my name. Good morning. Yes.